excited. Let's see. Let's get this camera straight. Okay. All right, we are set. Hello, all my Tiger Streaks. Where are you? It's 6 o'clock. Hello, all my Tiger Streaks. Where are you? Hello out there. Yes, all my Tiger Streaks, you have arrived. You have come to join me for another episode of In the Cage with the Tigress. Coming to you live from where? Toronto, Canada. Yes. And boy, let me tell you, do I have a room with a view. What? You say, what's the view? Let me show you before we get today's show started. So, many of you know that follow basketball, and even if you don't follow basketball like myself, I'm not really a basketball, I don't watch it that much, but if you know anything, you watch the news, you know that the Raptors from Canada have won the NBA championship. So, my room with the view is looking right at all of the activity. I don't even have to leave the room. So, I'll be coming to you live again tomorrow to show you all of the fun stuff that will be downstairs. Now, I don't think I want to be in the crowd with all of the people because they said there's going to be about 500,000 people downtown tomorrow. And I'm not a big crowd person. But I will show you some shots from the window down. Okay. So yes, I am coming to you live from Toronto, Canada today. And welcome to everyone who's coming to join me. I'm glad that the Wi-Fi and all of that good stuff is working. If any of you came last week and you missed any of my announcements from that point to the day you were there last week and wondering what happened to the Tigress, well, Instagram went down. That's what happened. And we were not able to air the episode that we're doing right now, Thursday, and so that's why I'm on today. But don't you guys come back next Sunday at 6 o'clock because you won't see me here. It will be again every Thursday at 6 o'clock, our new time, this coming Thursday. So everybody who's here, thank you for coming to join me today. To all of my fathers out there, it is Father's Day today. Woo-hoo! Happy Father's Day to all of those dedicated fathers out there. And there are many of them out there. All of you guys are not deadbeats. There are some good daddies out there, and I want to give a shout out to all of those daddies out there. And to my son, my baby, he is going to be expecting his first baby. And so, mad shout out to Keith and Brianna for their first baby that they should be expecting sometime in November, hopefully on my birthday. So, last week, just to catch y'all up to speed, we talked about body image last week. For those that did, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, we talked about body image just to keep you up to date of what the shows are. We talked about body image and the picture that you have of yourself and how do you feel about that picture that you have of yourself. It's very interesting, though, that as I begin to give these talks or topics, I talk about these topics and different things, how they come to play in my own life. And it's interesting because on my way over here to Toronto, I came from Chicago. I always forget to turn the sound off when I start these shows. But at least we caught it early this time. Okay. I came from Chicago via Greyhound bus. And I went from Chicago to Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh to Toronto, all on the bus. I did go to Chicago on the plane, but as I worked my way back, I went on the bus. But what I did notice talking about your body image and all of the topics that we talk about. I find that what I find that is very helpful for me to talk about these things, or at least I'm noticing how helpful it is for me to talk about these issues. I hope that is as helpful to you as it is to me. But what I noticed as I began to travel east was the vibe of how people were treating me as we slowly went east on the bus. And when I was in Chicago, it went from surprisingly like teenagers, and I rarely get like a positive a reaction from teenagers. But I was getting positive stuff like, "Oh my God, can I get a picture with you? Oh my goodness, you look like this and that." So that was really good. I mean, I rarely get that, and I always appreciate it when I do. But I get to Pittsburgh, and the vibe changed a little bit to what I was experiencing before I even went to Europe. And that was, how can I help you, sir? And all of that stuff. And it was just like the day before, the day that I was on my way over here, 7 times I counted. 7 times. How can I help you, sir? All of the, everything that I talked about, like when I joked about on the video, it was just like, I wish I could have had a body cam on so that you guys could see it. And I know that eventually that I'll be able to figure out a way to put my phone or camera on so that you guys can actually see what is going on, when I'm out on the street. But even when I was in the bus station, I tell a guy, Happy Father's Day, because he has his son with him. His son looks just like you. He's so cute. And he says, Happy Father's Day to you too. And I'm like, really? Well, I would take it as a compliment if I was a dude. So, when it talks about body image and stuff, when I have these talks, it oftentimes flashes back to me the conversations that I've had with you. And it reinforces those things that I try to talk about. And so that it's very helpful to me. So I'm hoping in the same way that it's helpful to you, thinking about your body image and how you feel about yourself. But I brought it up because it was upsetting to me yesterday for it to have happened 7 times. It was just like, I had to call my roommate. I was like, man, I'm just so freaking pissed right now. Like, enough is enough. Once, twice, 3 times, but 7 times in a day, somebody's referring to me as a dude, and brings me to like such a boiling point in my head. I don't even know what to do with that energy sometimes. And so I'm still I'm a work in progress, I guess you could say. Anyway, enough of all of that talking. We're going to be talking today. What is today's topic? Today's topic, I like to roll my experiences into the topics that we're talking about. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about visualization and the power of visualization. And how you can envision something that you want to be, or you can envision something that you want to do in your life. And through the power of that visualization, you can make that come to fruition, And this is not some hokey pokey type of stuff. This is stuff that stars use, people like Oprah Winfrey and people like Jim Carrey. Athletes use this technique all the time. When entering into a sport, it's visualization. You see yourself going through the motion. You see yourself doing these things. Now, I always like to start my topics and my talks off by saying that I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. Take what I say with a grain of salt, and if it works for you, use it. If it doesn't, like I said, it's just some advice that I thought maybe would be helpful to you, and I thought I would share my life experience with you. And that's what this is all about. We share one another experiences with each other in hopes that we can help enrich each other's lives. And so I hope that's what I'm doing for you today. So yes, the power of visualization. You might ask, well, what is visualization? So I think in general terms, I can say that the visualization is an amplified or a glorified way of daydreaming. That's a better way to put it. It's a glorified way of daydreaming, visualization. But a more dictionary term for that word It would be creative visualization is a mental technique that uses the imagination to make dreams and goals come true. So I don't want you guys saying, well, Tisha told me to just visualize stuff and it would happen. So I visualized my rent being paid and now I'm getting kicked out. No. We're going to take baby steps, and we're going to try to do this like with little things. I want you to try to use the visualization technique with little things first to see if it works. And I always go back to my experiences in life. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking from my own personal experience. With visualization, I can say for me, visualization, for me, it started back before I even became a bodybuilder, because I never even thought about really bodybuilding when I was overweight. There was always a thought in my head of how I wanted to look, and there was always a thought process in my head of how I was going to get there, how I was going to feel when I got there, how people were going to react. That was all part of the thought process in my head. It wasn't just daydreaming, but it was a more defined daydream, more detailed daydream when you are visualizing or you're using the technique of visualization. And so I remember back when I lived in Chicago and I was overweight, and before I embarked on my journey, how that picture in my head, it started with the picture that my trainer showed me of Linda Murray with the red bathing suit and the white background. And I was like, wow, I can see myself like that. I never thought that a female looked good with muscles, but I can see myself like that. And I remember coming home, because before my trainer showed me that, it was always a struggle, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to be another journey where I embark on it and then halfway through I fall off or you lose focus, But that's the whole thing about visualization. It helps you to be able to stay focused on a goal that you have without being distracted. And so I'm getting distracted by talking. So what I like to do is, first, before we get into the subject, and into my experiences, I did ask some of my viewers some questions last week that about their points of views on visualization. I asked some questions, so I'm going to read some of those questions right now, and then we're going to go into the more of the topic of visualization, if you don't mind. How about that? So some of my Tiger Streaks wrote in some of the questions that I put out, and some of them responded. I put out the question, if you had nothing holding you back, what would you want to see in your life? And so, let's see here. Who did I put a name down? Well, I think, let me see here. This is my answer. I don't want to just exist in life for myself, because I'm not a selfish person. I want to leave a legacy. That's what I would like to leave. For my children, for my grandchildren, and I want to make a difference in the world that I live in. That's my answer to that question. I asked another question, and JC Izzle 82, that's my friend in LA. Another question: what would you feel if all of your visualizations came true? He says, like a champ. And I think we all will feel like that if we can visualize something from beginning to end. It is a good feeling, and you do feel like a champ when you're able to accomplish something. I know when I accomplished losing that weight and I was on the stage, it was such a powerful moment for me, because it felt like deja vu. And it felt like deja vu because I had thought everything through, even the way that I accepted the award that day. You know what I mean? I was like, I envisioned me winning that show, the very first show that I did, and me winning and how I would feel and the emotions that I had. I envisioned all of that. And so even with the weight loss, I remember going into the bathroom in my home, and I would just sit and I would think, okay, how can I get this started? How am I going to start on this weight loss journey? And to take it from beginning to end and actually see it unfold as you thought it out. Yeah, you do feel like a freaking champ when you like, when I was at the end of that show, I was like, yeah, that felt so freaking good to be able to take that, nourish it, see it grow, and then the end result is that you have this thing here that you created from a seed in your head. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Another question. What is one thing in your life that you can do today that would help you get closer to the life that you want? Let's see here. Muted B says, go to the gym and work hard. Well, I want to know what type of stuff are you visualizing to make that work? Are you going to the gym to work hard? What type of stuff are you visualizing for yourself to make that happen? Do you see yourself going through the workout? Do you see yourself, your body developing in your head? You feel what I'm saying? Oh, that's all what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be addressing. And the last question, if you had a magic wand to make anything happen, what would your life look like? Let's see. Only one Maddie said, I'd be living on a road with my guitar and hoping to record my own album soon. And so dreams like that may not seem like anything to one person, but to Muted here or only one Maddie, this is again what we're going to be talking about, visualization. So if that's something that you see for yourself, how do you see that unfolding for yourself? How do you see yourself 5 years or 5, 10 years from now? How do you see this dream coming to pass for you? How are you visualizing it so that it can actually come to pass and it's not just a daydream? You feel what I'm saying? And so for me, my answer, because I also answer some of the questions as well, I would be traveling the world, visiting different countries, encouraging, uplifting, inspiring, empowering women to recognize the power and strength that they possess as women. That's what I want to do, and that's what I've been envisioning lately. I want to be that ambassador for women, not just women in bodybuilding, but women across the board, because I come across a lot of women in my life, in my travels, since I've become a bodybuilder, since I put this muscle on. I've come across a lot of women that are just simply encouraged. They are inspired by the fact that I look the way that I look, and I was able to do what I've been able to do with my body, and it inspires them that they can also do the same thing. And not only inspires them, but it also, some places that I've gone to has actually shocked them that they was not even aware that a woman could be strong like this. And so I want to spread that across the world. That's my desire. And so these are the things that I'm envisioning for myself, to be an inspirational speaker, a motivational speaker, to go across the world and speak my truth and my experiences and hope that they can inspire other people. And as I'm envisioning and planning these things for my life, I'm slowly seeing my life turn in ways that is going in that direction. I often like to say, you ever heard of the saying, you are what you eat? Well, you know what? You are what you think too. You are what you think. Just like a little kid, if you tell a little kid, you're a little dumb asshole, you a little, this and that, a little kid is going to grow up thinking just that. You know what I mean? But if you put positive words into someone, then they're going to grow up thinking the same thing. It's the same with yourself. You are what you think. And if you go into things, say you want to go into, you have a goal set for yourself. Or I often bump into a lot of people that look at my body, or women in particular that look at my body and say, oh, your body is beautiful. I can never do anything like that. The negative thought. What I often say is, people with this visualization, they're like, oh, I don't know how to do anything like that. But I tell people, you do it every day and you don't even realize it. But we use visualization more for a negative thing than a positive, because we're quick to visualize what we can't do. We are quick to put limits on ourselves, and the visualization works both ways. If you didn't know, you can think negative about something, or think a bad outcome for something, and it actually happens. Remember, we talked about last week, if you're looking for something, oftentimes you find, if you're looking for problems, you oftentimes will find that. It's the same thing. If you think that something is not going to turn out well, then guess what? It usually isn't going to turn out well. But if you have positive thoughts in this situation or any situation that you find yourself in, and you really, really focus and you put good energy out there into that, oftentimes your body will follow where your head is. If your head is in a positive space, every action that you do thereafter, your body is going to follow that. It's going to do things that is going to put you in a way or put you in a position to follow that path that you're on as far as positive. Just like it does when you're negative. You say, oh, I can't do that. There's no way I can do something like that. There's no way that I can win this, or there's no way that I can accomplish that. There's no way I can be a doctor. There's no way that I can win this event. And then when you don't win it, or when you don't become it, or if you don't get whatever you're looking for, then it's like, oh, see, that's just confirmation. I told you I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But again, the same way it goes to the negative, it can go to the positive too. And instead of automatically saying or visualizing something negative, you can say, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to think positive. You know, I'm doing that right now with these shows coming up. I can choose to say, oh, man, you know, things are really, really tight, and I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. Or I can choose to say, you know what, I'm going to think positive, and I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to put those thoughts. I see myself on stage. I see myself at the Chicago Pro. I see myself at the Norfolk Pro. I see myself at the Tampa Pro. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how it's going to happen. But my positive thoughts and the how I put it together, I see everything happening. I even see me getting the award on the stage. I see all of this happening. It's just positive thinking. And doors will begin to open up. Money will begin to come in, or whatever the situation is. Like for me, I'm short of the money for these shows. So my visualization is, my goal is, hey, I'm going to make it happen. But I'm going to make it happen through the power of my thought. And if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And if it's not, then guess what? Other doors will open up for the direction that I need to go in. So anyway, I don't want to bore you with all of that talk. We got through the questions. So I was telling you a little bit about my weight loss and how visualization worked for me. Some of the ways that visualization worked for me, one was through the weight loss. Because when I was 300 pounds, what I did this time differently than I did from the other times that I was on these journeys of trying to lose weight and whatnot, is that I took that daydreaming to that next level. You know, not only did I say that I wanted to lose the weight, but how much weight that I wanted to lose. How did I want my body to look when I lost the weight? How was I going to respond to people, and how people were going to respond to me? I was thinking to myself, oh, when I lost the weight, this is just exactly how I thought it. When I lose this weight, people are going to wonder how I lost the weight. And they're going to want me to speak about it. They're going to want me to write books about it. People are going to want to do movies about it, because the weight loss is going to be such it is going to be, the transformation is just going to be so huge that it is going it's going to make people take notice. And that's exactly how it went down. You know what I mean? All the way up to the documentary that is being done on me now. You know what I mean? And me doing public speaking engagements. I want to be a public speaker. And these are things that I have been starting to think about in my head. You know, how I see myself just like, what's the guy, Tony Robbins? I see myself just like him, speaking to thousands of people, motivating them. This is how I see it. And now, because my thoughts are there, strong. So my actions, everything that I do is leading me to that path. I'm on the expert panel at the Berlin Fitness Festival coming up. I have a performance coming, a whole summer performance at one of the clubs there. Again, a documentary is being done on me. These are all doors that have been opening up since I started nourishing that thought in my head. I hope you guys are following me, and I hope that I hope that this is something that encourages you on this day, because I know that is something that I was excited to share with you, because I know that for myself, it has indeed been something that works for me. Hi, Suchimo, and everybody that's from my German family. Love you guys. You like my biceps? I like them too. So yes, back to the topic. But yes, it has definitely helped me, like I said, in losing the weight, when I envisioned myself and how I wanted to be. It wasn't just like a broad vision. It was like, okay, I had two goals in mind. Because I think that's the important thing. The difference between daydreaming and actually visualization is that the visualization is more detailed. And so when I lost my weight, it wasn't just me visualizing and saying, "Oh, I look nice in a nice dress." Yeah. No, I visualized it all the way down to the pounds. How many pounds do you want to lose? Okay, I want to lose initially 100 pounds, but ultimately I want to lose 130 pounds. You know what I mean? I want my body to look like this and that. You feel what I'm saying? I want the abs to be like that. I want the legs here. I want the shoulders there. I envision all of that. And like I said, I envision everybody's response of that. And it works. I give you an example so that you don't think that this is some hogwash. And you can look it up too. Jim Carrey, before he became a star, Jim Carrey, look it up. I'm telling you. Before he became a star, he said that he used the technique of visualization. And what he did was, before he became a star and he was like going for his, I guess, his casting calls and different things like that, before he got his big break, which I believe was Dumber and Dumber. Before he got his big break, I think 10 years prior to that, he wrote himself a check for, I don't know, $1 million or $10 million or something like that. He wrote himself a check for. And he dated it 10 years in advance. That's using visualization. Like, you are visualizing this. And you don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but you just know that it is because you put it out there in the universe. And energy, and let me tell you something, guys, energy is real. Negative energy, positive energy is real. And when you do put that out there, just like a negative force, and that's why I don't like negative people around me. When you put negative stuff out there, it comes back to you like a boomerang. And when you put positive energy out there, guess what? It comes back to you like a boomerang. And so he writes this check for himself and puts it away. And then as the 10th year approaches, I don't know if it was before the 10 year or shortly after the 10 years, he got the big break with this Dumber and Dumber movie, and here he is, a millionaire. I'm just giving you that example so that you don't think that it's just something that I'm coming off the top of my head with and I'm trying to pass off something to you. I'm not. I'm just trying to encourage you because I've oftentimes used this technique for myself. I probably need to use it more. And that's the whole reason why I like having these talks, because it brings me into remembrance of things that maybe I did to get to one point. But sometimes distractions and life and stuff like that has a way of sidetracking you. And sometimes it has a way of throwing you off your square and kicking you off your focus. And so, I love having these talks because it helps me to remember, hey, you remember you talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time for you to do that for yourself as well. And so, yes, it helps me to bring back into memory, we gotta focus. We gotta stay focused on our goals. I have a lot of things coming up, and I don't want anything to sidetrack me on those things. And so that's the whole point of visualization. What are the benefits of visualization? Well, let me see. There are quite a few benefits for visualization. It improves your performance. Like I said, many athletes use this technique all the time, even as I do in bodybuilding. I picture myself and how I want my performance to be on stage. I envision it. I envision the routine over and over and over and over again. I envision it a perfected routine with no mistakes, no stumbling or anything like that. I go through the routine in my head so that when I go on stage, it's just not so much going through the motions, but like it helps me with my performance because I've already done it already in my head. It's not something foreign to my body. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, again, it feels like deja vu. So it helps with the performance. It helps you also to reach your potential. You know what I mean? And if you have something in mind that you want to better yourself, and you want to maybe raise your level in maybe the job that you're working in, or maybe you want to maybe go higher in your education. These are things that help you, you know, when you envision these things, it helps you to better your potential in life, as far as being able to stay more focused to be able to get that done. What are some other things? It reduces stress, for sure. I think stress comes from the unknown. But when you visualize something, again, it's almost like a deja vu situation. It's not unfamiliar to you. It's familiar to you because you've already visualized it 100 times over. And so that in and of itself reduces the stress level. When I have gone through the routine that I have to do in my head, over and over and over and over and over again, when I get out on stage, that the nervousness of what could happen, what might happen, goes out the door, because I feel secure in knowing that as I execute it, it's like a movie playing in my head. That's all it is. It's a movie playing, and I'm just following the movie in my head. Boom, 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 going through the motions with my moves and stuff. And then when I get off the stage, it's like, wow, that was a good performance. I didn't even mess it up. And I wasn't expecting to, because I visualized me not messing it up. And it's funny because during the same competitions, that same positive thinking, I often wonder if I conjure up these cramps that I have right before I go on stage. I swear to God, you ask any of my Iron Sisters or any people that go to the shows with me, right before I go on stage, I actually think it up. I think these cramps up, and sure enough, right before I go on stage, my feet start to cramp or my calf starts to cramp. And I have to say, I think it happens because I visualize this stuff happening right before I go on stage. I'm like, wow, I think I'm going to cramp up. I just know I'm going to cramp up. This is the thought. I know I'm going to cramp up because I do it before every show. Oh my God, please don't cramp up. And as I'm thinking this in backstage, don't cramp up. Breathe. Don't cramp up. Don't cramp up. I feel my body cramping. I feel it cramping. The power of visualization goes both ways, buddy. It could go for the negative and the positive. But like I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I have not perfected everything, but I just like to share my life experience and let you know that it does work. Okay? Let's see. It brings joy into your life and happy thoughts. That I can attest to. Yes, it does. Especially like that's why we daydream so much, because it's fun to daydream and think, take yourself into different places and like, oh yeah, well, it brings happy thoughts to you. When I think about my future, and I think about the exciting things that are getting ready to happen for me, yeah, it brings happy thoughts, because I'm envisioning everything that I want for my life, how I'm going to be this huge dynamic, motivational speaker. I see myself on the stage. I see myself doing and being so many bigger things beyond competing. And so it's exciting to me, and those thoughts make me feel so happy, because I see bigger things for myself in the future. Me writing a book, it being the best, what do they call New York Times bestseller. The movie that's coming out, I got a documentary and a movie coming out, and I can see myself and the director and the whole Funfair film team. We're all up on the stage. This is what I'm envisioning, and you can ask, man, anybody that's around me. This is what I envision: all of us being on stage, getting ready to accept that award for the Sundance Film Festival. Then we go on over and we get the Oscar and every other award that comes with that. We're all the team and everybody's accepted. This is my happy thoughts. This is where I go. And me speaking all over the world to women. These are my thoughts. And this is what I want you to start thinking, and also knowing that your negative thoughts have an impact too, just like your positive thoughts do. And so what I want you to start doing is to start thinking more positively about your life and the things that are happening in your life, especially if things are not going the way that you want them to go. I want you to know that you have the power to think those things through and think your way out of a lot of situations. And again, these things don't happen overnight. Like I said, I don't want you to go and say, and sit home and go, okay, she told me to think real hard, and so now I don't have to do this because I thought about it. No, it doesn't quite work that way. I mean, if it did, man, I wouldn't have to be worrying about my shows right now. But I want you to start thinking positively because it does take down that stress level. And in this day and age, man, with so much stuff going on, we don't need more stress in our lives, do we? No, we don't need more stress. So, let's see here. What other things can it do? It increases your focus. That indeed. You know what I mean? Because when you are really trying to think in things, not in the form of daydreaming, but more in detail, it helps you to focus a little bit better, especially like I said, when I'm getting ready for a show or I'm getting ready to do a big project and I'm really focusing on the fine details. You know what I say? The devil's in the details. And so when you think on the small details of things and how you're going to feel, involve all of your senses. That's what I want to say. Involve all of your senses when you are doing this visualization. How are you going to feel? You know what I'm saying? What are the things you're going to hear? What are you going to say? What are the things you're going to see? I want you to involve all of your senses when you start to visualize whatever it is that you want to visualize, okay? And I'm going to go over the questions that y'all are writing in a bit, as soon as I finish talking and boring y'all to death. So pay attention because I want you to visualize me talking to you and me getting through to you. Okay, what other benefits? It can spark inspiration. Yes, it can. It can spark inspiration where your head is. Again, that's where your body will follow. It sparks inspirations because all things start in the head first. Everything starts in the head. You plant that seed, and again, it inspires you to do the things that are in your head. Again, where the thought is, your body is going to follow through actions. It's going to do those things that are going to put you in a position to follow the thoughts that are in your head. So if you got positive thoughts, then you're going to do things that are going to support that. If you have a negative thought and say, there's no way that I can do that, then guess what? Your actions are going to do everything to support that not happening. So that you can confirm that and say, see, I told you. See, I told you. It wasn't going to happen because your actions backed up everything for it not to happen. So it goes the same way with the positive. You know what I'm saying? And you can motivate yourself, inspire yourself by the very thought that's in your head, making sure that it is positive. And I, too, am working on that. I'm not perfect. There's some times that I just, off the bat, I'll be having a bad day and I just be, in the negative sometimes, you know what I mean? And so nobody's perfect. We're all a work in progress. But talking about it and sharing our experiences, that's the good thing about a setup like this, is that we can talk to each other and share one another's experiences and say, hey, I visualized this one time and it came to pass. You're right about that. And so that's the whole thing about our experiences. We learn from each other and we teach each other. So that's a whole good thing. So, let's see here. Oh, yeah, some other things. It boosts confidence. Envision yourself at your best. Yes. And those are the things that I'm even working on now as people think about me negatively. People say things like, like I said, when I was coming over here to Canada, on my trip on the way over here, I could have taken all of those 7 experiences that I had yesterday, and I could have let it paint a bad picture in my head, and I allowed it to lower my confidence. Because I was talking to my roommate, and I called him up, because when I have to vent sometimes when I feel like I'm being attacked sometimes. And so I was like, yeah, I just don't get it. No matter how hard I try to feminize my body and look pretty and different things like that, I think I look great, but then, I go out there and people are like, sir, and calling me a dude and whatnot. And then I was talking to my roommate and I was like, it makes me feel sometimes if I allow myself to follow these negative thoughts, it makes me feel like, okay, is there some truth to that? Because 7 people have said it already today. Could there be some truth to that? Like, do I look like a man? Like, that's how it has you feeling sometimes. And so that's why it's so important to make sure that when the importance of visualization helps you to stay focused and on point, so that outside distractions, outside noises, especially when you're able to master that, it doesn't even bother you. Because when you're so focused on something, you don't even hear all of the noise that is outside. And so again, that's something that I'm working on. I haven't mastered it, and which is sometimes where I have to call somebody and just vent at times. I'm like, I can't believe this crap just happened, not once, twice, 3 times, but 7 times today. It is frustrating sometimes, but then again, practice makes perfect. So the more that you do this, the more that it becomes second nature to you. And the more that you will begin, again, like I said, we do this every day. We use visualization every day. We just don't even realize that we use it for the negative. So, what I am trying to do for myself is to make sure that when I find myself in those situations that I automatically default back to the positive and not have to call anybody to vent or anything like that, but that I will default right back into that positive way of thinking and be like, okay, stay focused, stay, and even thinking about the lessons that we talked about before, body image and different things. How do you see yourself? How do you feel about yourself? I even had to go back in myself. The talks that we had the week before, I had to go back and just like really reflect on that and say, how do you feel about yourself? You know what I mean? And how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself looking like a man? No. How do you feel about yourself? I feel good about myself. Then, okay, here we go. Talking about that lesson the week before last, and you can't let anybody worry about other people. And let them throw you off of your focal point, or off of your goal, your path, or that you're trying to stay on. And so, like I said, a work in progress. What's some other things that visualization can be beneficial? If you're sick, you can make yourself better. Like I said, it can work for the positive, it can work for the negative, just like the positive. And just in case you're thinking some hokey pokey stuff, like a hypochondriac. A hypochondriac is someone who always thinks that they're sick. They create stuff until they actually are sick. This is possible. I'm telling you, your thoughts are powerful, more powerful than you realize. And this is why I wanted to talk to you today. Because if we talk to each other and we strengthen and encourage each other, we'll be able to use this technique more and better, not only ourselves, but better the people around us. And if we better the people around us, there's a possibility we can better the whole world. I'm just saying, it only takes one person to make a change. Okay? So again, you can use this to make yourself better. I've done that before. Times when I felt really, really, really sick. And instead of thinking negative thoughts and focusing on how badly I felt, instead what I did is I thought myself better. And that actually does work. I've tried it, and it does work indeed. And you can think yourself to better health. So those that are not feeling well or anything, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. I'm not saying don't take your medicine. But I am saying that use it as a tool along with the doctor, along with the medicine. You feel what I'm saying? As a way to better yourself or get yourself better. People that have terminal illnesses and different things like that. Some people have been known to live an extra 10, 15 years with the illness because of their positive thinking. Ask any terminal illness or somebody who's really sick. You know how powerful that is. I'm telling you, I bet you they'll confirm it with you. So the power of thought is the power of visualization is a very powerful tool to use when you're dealing with your mind. Because again, we don't use a fraction. We use a fraction of our brain. So can you imagine if we used a little bit more than a fraction, how powerful we could be, and what we can actually get done? I don't know how much of the brain we do use, but I know we only use a fraction. But boy, now I tell you, let me just use a fourth of my brain, man. I'll be like Superwoman. I'll be just thinking things. Let's see here. Alrighty. Okay, some other benefits. It can help you to overcome nervousness. Again, the fear of the unknown is what makes you nervous. So to think these things through, whether you have a job interview, you want to think how the interview is going to go. You think these things through. What is the interview going to say to you? How are you going to respond? You feel what I'm saying? You might have to go for maybe a casting call somewhere. How are you going to do your audition? You feel what I'm saying? You might have a test that you need to take. Envision yourself getting the answers right, that even the complicated answers. That's another thing I wanted to address too. We got about 15 more minutes. Is that the power of visualization? This is why it's like, don't be like, oh well, she told me to visualize this, and so I went and it didn't help. Visualization too. You also have to visualize the things that may not go right, and how you plan to get through that. You feel what I'm saying? You visualize that, because everything in life is not going to go perfect. So when you're visualizing your goals for yourself, you also are visualizing in that thought process. You're also visualizing pitfalls that you may come into when you're going towards your goal. Things that you may encounter that might be pitfalls. How are you going to get through that? How are you going to manage that? How are you going to overcome that? These are all things that you visualize, so that when that does happen, it's no sweat, because I've already visualized what I was going to do when it happened. And that's how I got from point A to point B. Because point A to point B, or A to Z, whatever, how you want to say it, is not always a straight line. Sometimes you have to go around things, under things, over things in order to get to where you want to go. And you have to prepare yourself mentally for that. And so if you prepare yourself mentally for that, then those nerves of the unknown go away. And let's see here. What else? The more vivid the visual, the stronger the results will be. And this is why I said that it's more than just daydreaming. Okay? The more vivid the visual is, the more the better the stronger the results are going to be. And so the more detailed your vision is, like when I was losing weight and I used to sit on the bathroom on my floor, and like I said, I used to say, I want to lose not just weight, I want to lose initially 100 pounds. Then I want to lose 130 pounds, because that would take me back to my high school weight. And then when I lose the weight, I want to not only lose the weight, but I want to transform my body. Because when I transform my body, people are going to take notice. And not only are they going to take notice, but they're going to come to me and they're going to wonder how I did that. And it's going to get the attention of other people. And they're going to want to do books about it. And they're going to want me to speak about it. And they're going to, and sure enough, as I thought this in my bathroom floor in Chicago a decade ago, this is now all unfolding for me now. And so this is very possible. It is very, very possible for these things to happen. So I always like to give homework. I like to give homework to my students. So, or at least give you something to take home so that you can at least try it for yourself and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, hey, I tried to uplift you. 5 steps, okay? 5 steps to get started, okay? What can I do to try to use these visualization techniques that she's talking about? I want to try to do this, okay? Know what you want and why. It's important. Know what you want and why. I knew what I wanted when I lost the weight and why. Because I wanted to lose the weight to get healthy, but I also wanted to show other people that it could be done. And you didn't necessarily have to go under the knife to do it, but it can be done through perseverance, and I did that. And you know what I mean? And because I wanted to show people that it's not, you're never too old, you're never too overweight, it's never too late, and I wanted to be that example, and I did that. And people took notice, like, it happens. Describe your vision in detail. We just talked about it. The more detailed that vision is, the better the results are going to be when it finally does come to pass. Like, stuff that's happening to me now and unfolding, like I said, all the time, it feels like deja vu because I've already thought about these things, not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. I sit and I just, envision how, when I'm sitting and I'm just like, when I'm training, especially when I'm training, that's a prime example. Like when I'm training, when I'm lifting those weights, when I'm doing my cardio, I'm not just thinking about random stuff. When I am in the middle of training, this is why a lot of times I don't like to do videos with you guys when I'm live training, because it breaks my focus. Because when I am training, I'm thinking how I want to look I'm thinking how things are going to go down on that stage. How things are going to go down in the back of the stage, how I'm going to interact with the girls, how I'm going to receive my trophy, or how I'm going to, feel, what I'm saying, how I'm going to handle the situation or anything like that. I envision all of this in detail. You see what I'm saying? And so I want you to start doing those same things. Number 3, start visualizing and create the emotion, meaning that use your senses with that. Don't just think about it, but think about how, whatever situation it is, think about how you're going to feel, what you're going to see, what you're going to hear, how you're going to speak. Visualize using all of your senses. That's what I want you to do. Use all of your senses to make that vision even more detailed. So that as you begin to nourish it and you see how it grows, like I said, where your mind is, your body's going to follow. So the more detailed that is, the more details your actions are going to be to push you to that positive thought that you have in your head. Okay? All right, and let's see. 4, take daily action. Like I said, it's not just like I had a thought in my head and I just said, okay, I want to do this, and I just don't think about it anymore. I think about that every day. Now my thoughts are, how can I be a public speaker? How can I be a motivational speaker? Not just a motivational speaker, but if I'm going to be something, I want to be big. I want to be all over the world. So like this Tony Robbins guy, I like this guy because he's like well known. He's like a real good motivational speaker. I like him. And I don't want to be like him. I want to be my own motivational speaker. But I want to be dynamic like that, even more so. Because I want to reach everybody. I want to, especially women. Because us women, we just we need to stick together and we need to uplift each other. I don't think that we do that enough. And so I feel like my purpose now in life is to do that. And that's what my thoughts right now are setting me up for. And I find that my body is following those actions. The things that I do, or everything that I do, is supporting those thoughts in my head to make that happen. So daily, you think about your vision daily, every day. Every day, reinforce it, strengthen it, make it grow. You know what I'm saying? Until it starts to come to pass. Okay? And have grit and perseverance. And I say this because just because you thought it may not, if it doesn't happen the first time that you think it, you don't just go, I knew that crap wasn't going to work. You don't do that. But grit and perseverance, you stay with it. You stay with it. You stay with it. You fine tune it. Until that vision is what you want it to be and it starts to come to fruition. You stick with it. And so, visualization. That's what we were talking about today. And I hope you guys got something out of it, because I know it works for me. And like I said, I hope that it will work for you. So we have about a few more minutes to go. I'm going to quickly go through these, see if I have any questions from my Tiger Streaks out there. And again, happy Father's Day to all my fathers out there. Eddie, my roommate, happy Father's Day. And to Keith, my son, I love you, my baby, having a baby. And to all my male Tiger Streaks out there, happy Father's Day to you. and I hope that you enjoy your time with your families. Let's see if we have any questions here. Thank you for everybody that did come to In the Cage with the Tigers today. I hope I wasn't boring you too much today. I hope I encouraged you. Let's see here. I am fine. I'm just going through some of the questions while I was talking that y'all sent me. Let's see here. Rennie 511. I'm here, Tisha. Well, guess what, Remy? I'm in Chicago. I'm not in Chicago. I'm Toronto, and I'm here, and I'll be showing you guys live all the fun action tomorrow. They're getting busy down there, so I'll be coming to you live again tomorrow. Let's see here. Well, guess what? Let's see here. What is this here? Larker. I can't see without my glasses. But anyway, he says, Tisha, you are the best. But guess what? My Tiger Streaks, you guys are the best. Let's see here. Let's see. Whoa. Okay, let's see. What else we got? Can I flex? Of course I can flex, guys. It wouldn't be a cam session if I didn't flex for you. Here we go. Getting ready. And my abs, they came off a vacation. They're not all the way in, but they're in good, pretty much enough. Yeah, I like it. Ooh, yeah. I'll be able to do laundry. Oh, yes, soon. Oh, I like acting silly with you guys. Okay. Can you show some legs, please? Well, I thought I did show some legs. We only got a few more minutes, guys. Y'all be wanting me to put on a whole posing show for y'all. Boom. They looking good. Let me give you some light. So we're getting there. Of course, I've envisioned how I want to look. Let's see here. You are so sexy and beautiful, attractive. I'm in love with you. Well, I'm in love with all my Tiger Streaks too. Okay. How much time we got? We got a few more minutes. Keep inspiring. I'm glad that I have inspired you. I don't want to bore anybody. God knows I don't want to bore anybody. I just want to share my experiences with you guys, and I hope that maybe you can get something out of it. Okay? Let's see here. Can you show your legs? I already did that, guys. And I'm going to scroll very quickly. Love your traps. I love you too. Love your biceps. Boom. You think the bodybuilding girls are super sexy? I think we're super sexy too. It's just that people haven't caught up with our look yet. Okay? But you know what? You have to be the change that you want to see. So I am going to start being that change that I want to see. I want to see more people be accepting of women like myself. And so, therefore, I have to be accepting of all the people that are around me. Just the same way I want people to be accepting of me. Because it starts with you first. Okay? Okay. And as we are winding things up, I don't think I have any other questions. I am trying to scroll because I don't like missing anybody. And hello to all my regulars out there. Let's see here. I think that's it. Hi, Eddie. Hey, baby from Philadelphia. We miss you. Well, I was in Philly, and I couldn't tell that y'all missed me in Philly because I surely didn't get any contacts when I was there. So when I come back to Philly next time, you better show me some love in the city of brotherly love, or the Tigress will have to come and attack. Okay, let's see here. All right, hello to all my German family and the Funfair Film crew. Yes, can you flex and say my friend's name? He'll be so happy. Payman. Hey, Payman. I hope you're happy. Boom, that's for you. Yes. How can I help? Well, Eddie, like I tell my fans, if you want to help as far as contributing, with these contests that I go to, they are not free and they're very expensive to be able to compete. So, unlike some of the male athletes that do have sponsorships and endorsements, so a lot of the females do not. If you want to contribute and help or help to sponsor maybe a plane ticket or maybe one night at the room that I'm going to, you can do that. Just DM me. I'll give you the information and the app where you can send the contribution to, and I will make sure that that contribution goes to exactly what you sent it for. So I've had people that have sent me contributions for tanning. Say, well, I can't do the whole thing, but I can give you $150 for the tan, or I can give you $150 to get your makeup done, or I can give you $200 for your plane ticket. So if you want to contribute in that way, just DM me or hit me up in my email, tishatomas@gmail.com, or you can hit me up right here in the DM and I'll make sure that I'll get back to you. We have 29 seconds remaining. Again, I just want to tell all my daddies out there, happy Father's Day. I'll be coming to you again tomorrow to show you all of the live festivities outside of my window here or for the rafters that will be here. So again, in the cage with the Tigress, next Thursday, 6 o'clock. Love you guys. Thank you for joining.